Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. And hopefully the Yankees will do a little bit better today than they played yesterday. Pretty lifeless, honestly. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. And we got a bunch of voicemails today, so we've got two voicemail segments here. But what bothers me about last night isn't necessarily that the Yankees lost. I mean, you're going to lose sometimes. It's not necessarily that they're 4 games out with 62 games to play. It's the repeated problems, right? The defensive problems, the base running problems, the fixable problems, the not being able to manufacture runs. And, for years, base running has been an issue, right? We haven't had a reliable baseball person come out of our system. I mean, Judge is an anomaly, like as a hitter and his worth as a player, but I'm talking about we haven't had like a scrappy ball player that was really valuable come up since Brett Gardner. Somebody who could bunt, who could run the bases well, who could hit for contact, who could hit for the occasional power, who was clutch, who was a leader. We really haven't had enough of those type of guys, right? He was one of the last true baseball players that the Yankees created. And Judge, he's a different animal. I'm talking more scrappy guys, right? But what I want to see is a return to more baseball fundamentals. And I think that's where Aaron Boone is kind of lacking. I mean, he's one of these guys who's a player's manager, right? All the players seem to like him. All of the players will go to bat for him. He definitely gets in fights with umpires about strike zones and things like that the players feel strongly about. But I don't think that there's enough going on to improve the fundamentals of this team year over year. Maybe by definition, the new school guys are not going to be like the old school guys like Gardner. But I mean, I see somebody like Cody Bellinger who comes from outside of our organization, and he plays such a more well-rounded game, right? Why don't our guys do that? And you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with Aaron Boone? Well, it's a manager's job to do more than just make out the lineup card and make the pitching changes. They need to set the tone for how the game is played, what brand of baseball the Yankees are going to play. Now, it's okay to be a team that scores most of your runs with home runs, to be a power hitting team. But you've got to be able to do the other things because you're not going to hit home runs every night. And just saying, well, then we'll lose those games. That's not good enough because then you get to the playoffs and it's very much a crapshoot. It's the good baseball teams, the well-rounded baseball teams that play well together, that play fundamentally, that make deep playoff runs. Look at what the Astros did all those years, right? And throughout the year where they cheated. Look at the Dodgers last year in the World Series. They just completely outplayed us in terms of defense, base running, contact hitting, rallies, stringing together hits, putting down bunts. This team just does not get bunts down, and it hasn't for years. The constant strikeouts and pop-ups with runners in scoring position, guys taking home run swings in contact situations. These are all organizational decisions. They're all style of play decisions. And they all have to be aligned with the manager, right? I feel like he should be in a position as being closer to these players and right there in the clubhouse to identify problems when they arise and fix them. How come Gleyber Torres is so much better with the Tigers than he was with the Yankees? It can't be all environmental. It has to be some part coaching. I turned on the Tigers game the other day. You know what I see? I see him sprinting down the line. Never sprinted down the line with the Yankees. It's not just that. It's the in-game decisions, right? Last night, you had an opportunity to pinch hit Cody Bellinger for Jason Dominguez, who's been struggling. Bellinger's been hot, and it didn't happen. Now today, Dominguez is out of the lineup, and we'll talk about the lineup in a few minutes. The last few years, we've constantly had guys playing out of position. Part of that is on Brian Cashman and his roster construction, which we'll talk about. But we've seen players regress after they get to the major leagues. And part of a manager's job is to help players grow, right? That's the manager job for every type of manager is. You're supposed to help those underneath you grow. And instead, a lot of the Yankees players regress. You know? And this is year number 8 for Aaron Boone. And in years past, Yankees managers would not have had this many opportunities. I think the mandate for Aaron Boone should be win the World Series. And anything else, you're done. So that's how I feel about it. Let's move on to Cashman. Because this is year 27 for Brian Cashman. 27. That he's been the general manager of the New York Yankees. Over a quarter century. And let's be honest, those first few titles that he won, those were Gene Michaels' teams. They were Gene Michaels' fingerprints. Cashman was riding shotgun in a car that was already on cruise control. Then around 2007, he took control of the whole operation, the roster, the farm system, the trades, the philosophy, everything except the paychecks. And since then, one championship. One. 2009. And you know how that championship came together? Hal opened up the vaults and brought in the 3 biggest free agents, Teixeira, Sabathia, Burnett, like he was, doing a fantasy draft or like MLB The Show. Of course you're going to do great. And it was a new stadium. There's all this energy. People didn't realize that the ball was flying out of the ballpark yet. You had Matsui at the one of his last few productive years. Damon, one of the last productive years he had. What has Cashman really done since then? He drafted Aaron Judge. Credit where credit's due. Great pick. Not a lot of other great picks. Not a lot of great international signees. I mean, Dominguez, all the hype in the world, been a decent player so far, having a decent rookie year, but, compare him to some other guys that have come up. We passed on Gunnar Henderson to draft Anthony Volpe. A lot of teams passed on him, though. A few trades have worked out. David Justice was a nice move. That was 24 years ago. A-Rod fell into his lap. Matsui wanted to be here. Garrett Cole was dreaming of wearing pinstripes. He wanted to be here. That's not exactly GM wizardry when guys are begging to be here. So here's my issue. Where are Cashman's moves in which he required extra large huevos to go out and get a deal done? He passed on Verlander. He passed on Cole the first time. He hugs prospects, and then they're rotting on the vine, or they become nothing. Like, who was a number 1 prospect at one time? Oswald Peraza. I don't think you could get a warm batch of chocolate chip cookies for Oswald Peraza right now. And then, he lets Joe Girardi walk after getting 1 win away from the World Series, and we haven't gotten that close until last year. It took, how many years that was before we finally made it again. 1 win away, and then boom, gone. Why? Because he was too strict on Gary Sanchez? Well, what happened to Gary Sanchez after Joe Girardi left? His career went in the tank. You listen to Girardi on the broadcast with other smart baseball people, commentators, analysts, players, been around the game a long time, and Girardi's 3 steps ahead of all of them. He's had some couple, nice moves, Cashman. Overachievers like Luke Voit. You brought in Matt Carpenter at the right time. But you've also got a ton of guys that are getting paid by this organization that are not even in the organization anymore. Ellsbury, I think, is finally done. Hicks, Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu. How many millions is Hal going to let him spend on these players that are just done? I get liking veterans, right? But there's a point where it's just, you got to go with some youth. And let's not forget his track record against our division. Red Sox knocked us out in the playoffs. Rays knocked us out in the playoffs. Never was able to find the right mixture to overcome the Astros in the West. Looks like the Blue Jays probably body bagging us again this year, just like they did, and I think it was like 2015, 2016, where they came back and stole the division after the Yankees got off to a hot start. because a bunch of has-beens that Cashman signed were great for half the year and then they fell apart. And I'm kind of terrified, I got to admit, that Brian Cashman's going to try and fix his legacy problem at the trade deadline by making the wrong move. He's been cautious when he needed to be bold and bold when he needed to be smart. And now he's desperate, which, by the way, is when GMs do the most damage. Let's take some voicemails. Here's Robert.
Yeah, you got to admit, this team's friggin' amazing. Every time they seem like they're taking a step or two forward, they manage to go right back to the crap. Unbelievable. They're probably getting swept again. We'll see. I have no faith in them anymore. I've lost all faith. Until this organization, realizes they got to get rid of Boone and Cashman, they ain't going to win shit. Case closed. Later.
Appreciate the call, Robert. Got a lot of calls like that. I think fans are fed up with Boone and Cashman. Hence the need for this episode.
I am sick of this team acting like pathetic losers. Boone had the audacity to say that Volpe is still a top shortstop. He is batting .215 with an OPS below 700 and leads the league in errors. He said, he made 3 or 4 bad plays. Boone, he has 12 errors. Anytime the ball's hit to him in a big spot, we hold our breath. That's not a top shortstop. And when he is asked, Volpe, he's saying, we got plenty of baseball left. It's the dog days of summer. The season is more than halfway over, and you're barely in a playoff spot. Get your head out of your ass.
That's a great call. That's a great call. How can you be an elite defender when you lead the league in errors, right? That does not make sense. That's one of the things that bothers me about Boone, is that he'll piss on us and tell us it's raining, right? He tries to gaslight us. Just be honest, right? I've said this many times. New Yorkers have a very, very finely calibrated bullshit detector. And we can tell when he's feeding us a load of crap. But there's some other problems here. What are you going to do if you send down Volpe or take him out of the lineup? There's no solutions. We got to call about that.
Good morning, Derek. Everybody wants to bench or obliterate Anthony Volpe. Who does Cashman have to play shortstop if Volpe's not there?
It's a question for sure, but whose job is it to have depth at shortstop in case you're short? What if Volpe got injured? What if Volpe broke his arm? God forbid. Gonna knock on wood. What if Volpe broke his arm and had to miss the season? High and tight fastballs get guys on the wrist all the time. Tell me you're prepared to go with Oswald Peraza at shortstop? How many shortstops have we drafted over the years? How many have we signed as international free agents? You're telling me none of them worked out? Whose fault is that? Is that the scouts finding the wrong guys? Trey Sweeney was somebody they drafted. He made the major leagues with the Tigers, or with the Dodgers. He got dealt to the Dodgers and ended up going to the Tigers. He hasn't even worked out either. All of their picks at shortstop have been trash. Maybe the right thing would have been to sign one of the big shortstops when they were available, which is something we all talked about. And the call about Boone.
Hi, my name is Bill. I'm tired of Aaron Boone. Why can't he be like the Met manager and say, like he did with Juan Soto when he had a problem? He says, I want to talk to him. Why can't he say something like that? And also, I can't wait to the walkout in 2026. I don't have to watch this team anymore. Thank you.
I'm worried about the walkout, the lockout, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, impending labor negotiations. They don't want to lose the money. They don't want to lose a ton of games. Obviously, that would be devastating to me because this podcast is a big part of my life and a big part of my finances. So I'd be like that guy from Tiger King. I'd never financially recover from a long walkout or a missed season. Slime since '09 says this team is too California, protecting mental health over being killers and doing the damn thing. Tell the hard truth and do the damn thing. All right, quick word from DraftKings, then back with, we got a few more voicemails. We got Hugh from Brooklyn, we got Mary Beth, we got Steve from Maine, and we got a call about DJ. Nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game. All with DraftKings Sportsbook. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for a gambling problem. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right. This next call is about DJ LeMahieu.
Yes. Hi, Derek. Steve calling from Maine with a solution for the Yankees' third base problem. It's a very unusual solution, but it's easily doable, but it won't happen. But here's the solution. There's a player out there, he's a free agent. In 128 at-bats, he had a .7 WAR. You multiply that by 5 for a full season, it's a 3.5 WAR. He's hitting .266 with a .328 on-base percentage. Doesn't have much power, 2 homers. He's a Gold Glove winner. And I think you know who I'm talking about. Re-signed DJ LeMahieu. He was finally coming around, and that's when they cut him.
Here's the problem. Can't play defense anymore. I mean, you mentioned that he's a Gold Glove winner, but we all saw it. He had no range. He can't play third base physically, and he can't play second base physically. And we have a DH. We have 2 DHs. We have Giancarlo Stanton and Ben Rice. It was a tough thing, I think, for Cashman to make that decision. I don't think they wanted to get rid of DJ LeMahieu. He's also very close friends with Aaron Judge. But I don't think that's the move. I don't know that there is somebody out there that solves the Yankees' problems. The Yankees have too many problems. This is the result of years and years and years of bad roster construction, of bad decisions. Here's Hugh.
Good morning, Derek. This is Hugh from Brooklyn. And the Yankees must replace the left side of the infield, the entire left side. Volpe has to go. No more chances for Volpe. This is 3 years. He's failed with the bat, and now with the glove, he must go. Obviously, we need a third baseman as well. I would call up Spencer Jones, put him in center field, trade Grisham now while he's hot. This is hot for Grisham, hitting .255. Get whatever you can for him. Might get a pretty decent player. Move Bellinger to left and leave him there. He's got a great glove. He catches a lot of balls that the Martian doesn't get to. Put Judge in right, obviously. And then the only problem is shortstop and third, which is a large problem.
That is a large problem, but also you're taking Dominguez out. Dominguez has been one of the best rookies in the American League this year. I know he's in a down slide right now, in a slump. Hit the ball hard twice yesterday. Got an OPS over 900 or so from the left side. Had a 3-home run game. Homered from both sides of the plate in that game. As our only walk-off homer of the year. I'm not ready to give up on him. I know he's not great defensively. Look, if the Yankees trade him, I'll be surprised. But I would expect them to stick with Dominguez over Spencer Jones. Even though Jones is killing the ball in the minor leagues right now, I think they would probably, if it came down to it, they would stick with Dominguez. He's younger. He's faster. He's a switch hitter, even though from one side he hasn't been great. So he doesn't strike out as much. Will be interesting to see what what happens. But the left side of the infield, you're right, it's just been bad. It's just been utter puke right now. The Rowdy Rattel says, unpopular opinion, but IKF solves a problem at third. You're not wrong. He was a Gold Glove third baseman. And the Yankees always played him out of position. Here's Mary Beth.
Hey, good morning, Derek. It's Mary Beth getting ready to go hiking with the dogs. Last night's game is a disgrace. How can you not bring your A game? Everything that you said in your rant last night, nice, and Frankie's funny. I'm on Frankie's side more than you. I think probably this morning you're waking up and thinking, yeah, I was a little hard on Rodon. Although I agree with you. How can you not bring your A game? And that goes to the whole team. How can they not be bringing their A game? And that goes back to my feeling about the energy and all the stuff at the top, and that's the responsibility of the manager. And I was
100%, Mary Beth, 100%. Yeah, maybe I was a little tough on Rodon. I don't like walks. I don't like walking a guy who's hitting 095 twice. You got to pitch to that guy. But we have reached our limit for today. I'm going to take more voicemails and hopefully answer some on the post-game show tonight. Tune in for that. I think maybe we should take a look at the Yankees lineup here, if we can get it to pop up here. So we got, oh, come on. There we go. Trent Grisham leading off. Cody Bellinger batting second in left field. Judge batting third. Jazz Chisholm batting fourth at second base. Stanton batting fifth at DH. Rice batting sixth at first base. Wells batting seventh at catcher. Eighth is Yorbit Vivas at third base. And Volpe in the number 9 hole. Cam Schlittler on the mound. I'm really looking forward to seeing the second outing from Cam Schlittler. He impressed me first time out. He also impressed me in spring training. So let's hope that the Yankees can get it done. I'll see you next time. If you made it this far, do us a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join our community. You can also be a part of the show by calling in at 718-899-1068. Also, part of the way that we maintain and fund all of this is through NYYDesigns.shop. Check it out now. Get all sorts of fun Yankees merch, hats, hoodies, zip-ups, beanies, mugs, you name it. We've got it. Check it out, NYYDesigns.shop. And check out Pinstripe Territory on all your favorite podcast platforms. We are the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We're here for post-game shows after every single game, and we're here before a lot of games to talk about the game, preview the lineup, the pitching matchups, and things like that. And we're here all off-season to talk about the latest in Yankees rumors, news, etc. Join our community. We'll see you next time.